tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that, spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some honestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable.
Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages. A vacant, modern kingdom for the taking.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. Take shit, I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that, spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some honestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away.
Good evening, race fans. Welcome to Red Line Racing Network. The next stop for the Dynasty Racing League Gen 4 edition is right here. The Southern Style at the Lady in Black, right where these guys should be. Saturday night in prime time. Get ready for a high-flying, high-octane thriller from one of the greatest, most historic tracks on the circuit, in my opinion, that is. Tony Trepasso Memorial Booth is the place for me, welcoming all of you in to the YouTube live feed here this evening, right here on Redline Racing Network. Drivers just finishing up with their qualifying session here, and guess who is on the pole? Nathan Jurgensen in the 31. In fact, two cars starting with three, so 31 and 32. In fitting, the 31's going to be on the pole. The 32 of Joe Safford in the outside lane. Is everyone is stacked behind that pace car except for the pole sitter himself. 20 cars going to take the initial green flag tonight, and all of them having dreams of aspirations of conquering the Lady in Black here this evening. Let's go ahead and roll into tonight's starting lineup. On the pole with the hot lap this evening, Nathan Jurgensen in the 31 ride. He is starting to build a little bit of a hot streak here, some momentum out of Loganville, Georgia. He starts P1. Front row Joe literally in the house out of Philadelphia. Joe Safford in the 32 going to start outside front row in that second place position. Kyle Gray fast again in qualifying out of the state of Missouri. He's going to roll off P3. Well, the 25 ride of Andrew Phillips is going to start row 2 outside lane in that fourth place position. The Butchers in the house and in the top 5 out of Pennsylvania. Well, Florida's favorite driver, Bryce B, going to start P6. Donald Hickson Jr., always quick here. One of those cars to watch, going to start from that 7th place position. Well, the Master of Chaos, Kenny Thompson, is going to roll off in 8th. The 45 ride of Brandon Broby out of Northfield, New Hampshire, going to take the green flag from that 9th place starting position. Well, Matty Sizzler, a.k.a. Sizzle Time, out of Michigan, going to roll off here at P10. Matthew Kasparov is going to round out that 11th place position, while the 99 of Danny Rockin' Rogers going to roll off their 12th. Gary Farnsworth Jr. in that 42. Going to be good for P13, while 14th in the 00 of Dakota Osborne. Longtime veteran of the series, David Keisha, going to round out your top 15, while Ryan Moutre. Mooch, what's up, buddy? Going to roll off 16th, while James Pandolf, the head cook, chief, and bottle washer, going to slot in that 17th place position. Gary Donaldson, 18th, and David Anderson in that 19th place position, rounding out the 19 cars that are going to take the initial green flag here tonight. Let's go ahead and give these paints a refresh, as it looks like they are not properly loaded. We can fix that. But before we do, let's go ahead and bring you the initial green flag coverage here on Redline Racing Network. Into the Geico restart zone we go. Barney's got that green flag in hand. Jurgensen's going to drop the clutch, hit the hammer, and here we go. Those V8s come roaring to life here in prime time for the first time, as we are now underway officially from Darlington, South Carolina. Those glorious V8s come to life here from this iconic racetrack, a staple here in Darlington, South Carolina. Oh, we got Donkey Kong action. The 5 is going to get flow-ridered. That's Donald Hickson Jr. Did he save that? Someone needs to give that man an Emmy. What a save by the 8. I thought for sure that was going to be the first yellow flag of the evening, but not the case here.
Daddy, what's wrong?
Let's go ahead and throw the ticker up on the screen for you folks at home so you can follow along with us. Jurgensen just hit the fast one. And just as I say that, Kyle Gray dethrones him from that 3rd place position of running a 29.58. And again, we're going to see these hot laps when these tires are fresh, as this track is like a cheese grater. It will wear them out quicker than you think. fuel mileage, tire conservation could be a big part of the formula here tonight, especially if the DRL trends hold up. And we see a lot of long green flag runs. So patience is going to be a key. Just being patient out there on the racetrack, not forcing yourself into a bad situation, waiting for that driver in front of you to make a mistake. Calculated passes out there on the racetrack, all going to be part of that formula to being the first man across the finish line when the checkered flag flies here at Darlington.
I'll look at it in the chat.
In fact, while we try to get these paints a kick in the pants, let's go ahead and do the first crank it up session of the race. Go ahead, take that dial, crank it to 1,000. Let's do this thing here on Red Light Racing Network. Let's crank it up. Welcome back, race fans. Hope you enjoyed that Crank It Up session brought to you by Sim Magic and Black Magic, the official custom paints and design partner here on Red Light Racing Network. As look at this battle here building between Andrew Phillips and the 25 GMAC machine. It tried to hold him off. Donald Hickson Jr. in the iconic Budweiser number 8. 25 going to take it up towards the top of the fence, try to get the run. The 8 going to try to rip the middle. Shoot the gap there off the corner, able to edge him out by just about a car length. Last time by, Phillips slightly quicker, a 30-20 to a 30-22 that was just put up there by the 8 machine. Again, this is just outside of the top 5 as Andrew Phelps clearly has it, looking to dethrone the 8 for a spot inside the top 5 here this evening. Up at the point, it is all Nathan Jurgensen, opening up a 45-second gap over Kyle Gray. I told you he was going to be one to watch here this evening. Great looking paint scheme on that 78 as well, as he resides in that second place position, up one spot from where he started. Taylor Butcher Benjamin also on the move, as expected. And that Mustang now inside the podium in that third place. Your pole sitter, or excuse me, outside pole sitter, Joe Safford, currently fell back 2 spots here in the early going. That's probably a calculated decision here just to save some tire. So good over the long run is the 32. And again, another Pennsylvania man in the house. The more I broadcast these leagues, you would be surprised the amount of people that are on these servers, iRacing servers, that is, from the state of Pennsylvania. Probably more from that state than I have seen. Keep an eye on him as well. How about Sizzle Time coming back? Hope he is doing well. And things are continuing to get better for him. So glad to see him out here in competition in that Kia Stinger. Probably got those twin turbos spooling up on that thing here tonight. Great looking paint scheme on that ride as always. As he currently runs inside the top 10 in that 8th place position. How about Mr. Excitement here in the 5 ride? Bryce out of South Florida. Paint scheme. Throwing it back to Kyle Busch there back in his rookie season. His early years at Hendrick Motorsports. And look at him running the top of the fishbowl. Looking like Kyle Larson out there if you ask me. Farnsworth Jr. Silver Bullet. Coors Light. Running a similar line there. And that's the fast lane. Right up against the fence. You got to have the lug nuts to basically run just a couple inches off of it. That's where you really see the elites and you put down those heaters as far as the ones that set that scoring pylon ablaze in that Dodge. Ryan Moutre there in that 16th place position. Another great looking paint scheme out there tonight. Does he have damage to the front of that race car? I think a little bit of damage there to the... Oh, yeah, he got into the fence there a little bit. That's going to happen. The Darlington stripe is real. The lady in black, she will jump up and bite you. And hopefully you brought her flowers. You better treat her with respect or she will slap you into next Wednesday if you ain't careful. Send it back up to the point. It is all Jurgensen. Right now here in the opening laps. Now 21 on the board already. Lap time's already starting to fall off a cliff. Over a second of fall off in just 21 laps. Jurgensen's fastest lap at 29.65. Last time by 30.79. And that'll only continue to get worse and magnify as these tires transition from Dr. Feel Goods to Feel Bads. That right rear is going to give out. It's going to feel like there's some Waffle House bacon grease underneath the rear of that race car. And if you love a loose race car, you're going to be in your glory here this evening in this Gen 4 machine that makes all the power and torque. If you haven't drove a Gen 4 car or it's been some time since you've hopped in it on the sim, go ahead and do it, man. I did that a couple days ago and it was a riot. I forgot how much fun this car was to drive. And on the other side of that, how easy it is for it to jump up and bite you should you overstep the boundary. It's incredible how these guys make it look so easy to save these race cars. It's anything but. Kyle Gray starting to run down. Jurgensen, he is closing the gap now under 0.4 of a second. Taylor Benjamin lurking behind the 78 as well. So the 78 might get into a situation where he's going to try to play offense and defense. You don't want to do that here at Darlington. You want to pick one and focus on that. 24 laps on the board. You can see TBB applying the pressure. If that's me in the race car, I'm going to let him by right now. Live to survive another day. You have to be in it to win it, and you can't do that if you're kicking stones on the back of your halter with the race car. It looked like it had a nuclear bomb dropped on top of it. Great battle up here towards the front of this field. Back, let's send it down trackside again. Let's jump on board with Jurgensen. Taking a peek out the business cam. That would be the rear bumper of that race car. And you can see he has a face full of Kyle Gray. And if you're Kyle Gray, similar story. That's a terrifying sight. Something out of your worst nightmare. Butcher Benjamin continues to close it and stalk Kyle Gray. And this is only at lap 26. It's already getting good in the neighborhood. It's a top four breakaway. That's Jurgensen, Gray, Benjamin, and Safford. Then you have to go back about 1.6 seconds till you find the 8 of Donald Hickson Jr. However, he is a little quicker than these 4 cars battling in front of him. And as they continue to mix it up, if they start getting into a side-by-side situation, that's really going to benefit the 8. Well, Grandma's got plenty of kernel-free popcorn, and you folks at home do as well, because it is getting high octane, up close and personal here at the front. Pick your poison. Place your bets. Who do you want? Jurgensen, Gray, Butcher, Benjamin, or Safford in this one? This is a juggernaut battle here at the Lady in Black. This is about as good as it gets right now. If you don't like this, turn it off. Go home. See you some other time. This is the stuff Hollywood dreams about right here. Going back trackside there with your leader. Kyle Gray just cannot seem to get that last 0.2 that he needs. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Passing them is one thing. Or catching them is one thing, passing them is another. And the more laps they run, the more challenging it's going to be to keep this race car firmly planted on that racetrack. 31 laps in the book here on Red Line Racing Network. We're going to step aside, pay some bills for the first time, but don't worry, we'll be right back with coverage till the checkered flag right here from Darlington. Stick around. Good evening, racing fans. Welcome back to Red Light Racing Network. Donald Hickson Jr. going to inherit the lead, staying out on the racetrack is the first round of green flag pit stops happening right now, a little sooner than we anticipated, but hey, sometimes that's why we're up here at the broadcast booth for a reason. As Kenny Thompson now comes down pit road for the first time. Bryce Boyer currently on pit lane. Service underway on that Kellogg's number 5 Chevrolet. Jack's going to drop. He is down and underway. We watch him bring the 5 ride back out onto the racetrack. Mooch on pit road as well in the 9 ride. Donald Hickson Jr. is going to relinquish that lead as he now has his sights locked on his pit stall. And again, no mistakes here under green flag conditions. And he is on pit road. Joe Safford just sent up a prayer. A 29:34. Are you kidding me? He sent a Hail Mary and the Lord answered on that one. That is a hot one. A 29:34. I can't. These guys are just sick. Hickson Jr. now off of pit lane. And getting back to what I was saying about pit road, the time delta, so basically how long it takes you from the time you hit that entry cone till you get stopped in your pit box for the crew completes the work down on the way to that exit cone, that time there is going to be critical. That could make you or break you tonight. So not only do you have to stay out of the mayhem and keep that car in one piece out there on the racetrack, you can't breathe or fall asleep on pit road either. You try to do that, and you will pay dearly, I can assure you. And the man that's doing it the best right now, out on the racetrack, getting it done in the trenches, Nathan Jurgensen. However, Joe Safford, right there on his heels. Half a car length is you're now on board with the Philly man. See a little bit of corrective wheel input there, and that's only going to get magnified over the course of this next tire run. Just another day in the office right now for these guys. Joey going to send in there a little more aggressively into the corner where the 31 is really trying to focus, it seems, on corner exit, at least right now here in the early going on this set of tires. Well, it's World War II style trench warfare here for the battle up front. Taylor Butcher Benjamin continues to climb the leaderboard. Up 2 spots from where he started. He has cracked the top 3 and has maintained that position under green flag conditions while pitting all these drivers inside the top 4. That's Jurgensen, Stafford, this guy right here, Benjamin, and Andrew Phelps, all down on lap 37. That's important to keep a note of that. Battle for the lead going on up front. Let's send it back up there. 32 thought about taking a peek. The 31 gassed it and able to keep his Chevrolet out in front of him. Joe Safford's going to burp the throttle here. Get ready to go back at it and turn up the cytometer here one more time. Butcher Benjamin praying these guys get into a slugfest, because that'll allow him to be right in the thick of things. As your optimum lap timer ran single file, you start battling side by side, you're going to give up, or I should say bleed some time off of the speed on that lap. You can see Benjamin trying to use that top shelf of the racetrack there and kind of apex slightly down off of that the center of the corner there, trying to get a lot of speed built up so he can close that gap. You can tell the way he's driving right now, he wants to be a part of this battle for the lead. And hey, why not? It's okay to three-way at Darlington. Sizzler doing his thing out there on the racetrack, right on schedule, if you ask me, up 2 positions. Currently ran a 30-14 last time by. And I'll tell you what, outside of Joe Safford, that's the second fastest lap on the board, at least that time at the lot. You know, this track here at Darlington, South Carolina, broke ground post-World War II era. That's right, you got to go back a long time. The configuration of this place, well, one of these things is not like the other. Turns 1 and 2, vastly different from 3 and 4. Just ask any of these drivers in the sim or in real life, the way you attack them, totally different. The reason for that, and if I throw us up here briefly to the blimp, give you guys a better understanding of what I'm talking about here. Right off the back of that racetrack, turns 3 and 4, there used to be a pond. And because of that body of water that was there when they broke ground and constructed this racetrack, they had to kind of make the turn, they had to shrink the turns here in basically 3 and 4, which has given this racetrack kind of like an egg shape, if you will. And because of that, it's really made this track not only historic, but also very unique in the way that you attack this place with 2 vastly different sets of turns, or complexes, I should say. Officially opened here in 1954, if I remember correctly, so they've been racing here for a long time. That's why you see modern-day NASCAR having their throwback weekend here. A lot of history, a lot of racing, and a lot of heritage right here at the Lady in Black. Butcherman now up to second place position. Kyle Gray now in 4th. Joe Safford back to 5th. Something happened there on the racetrack, of course, when we go to the blimp. Oh, the perks of being a broadcaster at times. So Joe Safford now holding on to the top 5. You remember, he was in a heater with Jurgensen up there for the lead. I imagine if I had to take a stab at it, they probably either had some slight contact or perhaps that car got loose. He had to deploy the save, which he does a very good job at, I might add. In fact, to see a little bit of damage on the front of that race car. Yeah, you can see he caught a piece of the fence there. It's not going to do too much damage to him. May affect his straightaway speed a little bit, but he should be okay. Be able to hang on to it until he brings it down pit road. And again, do not just have the benefits of the cautions here in DRL. If you break it, you have to wait until your pit window opens. And remember also, under green flag conditions, you sit there in your pit stop or your pit box, you're bleeding precious time out there on the racetrack. So some tough decisions perhaps on the horizon for the 32. As he runs in that 5th place position. Let's go back further in the field. James Pandolf. Glad he is feeling better. He has been under the weather, sick as a dog for the past couple weeks. Also went through a big relocation. Tell you what, this man is dedicated, because he had to have get another sim rig or at least a set of wheel and pedals, as he's still out there on the racetrack. Also got to thank him for all the hard work here in the background of DRL. He's been doing this for a long time. Always cares about the drivers, wants to give them the best experience. As I just invoked the broadcaster's curse on him. I am sorry, James. JP has a speed date with the safer barrier. Gonna debark the passenger side of his race car. in that 17th place position. Danny Rogers off the racetrack. And the same for David Anderson. So 2 retirees thus far. 17 remain on the racetrack at the lap 58 mark. Getting skinny up here at the fence. Taylor Butcher Benjamin is possessed right now. Last time by a 29.41 to a 29.52. He has lit the wick on that rocket. And he is all systems go. You better watch out when the Butcher comes a calling. TBB going up against the Intimidator 2.0. Asked him about that paint scheme in an interview. He was a big-time Dale Earnhardt Sr. fan, and that's his way of kind of throwing some respect to the man in black. And he has literally a matte black race car, all murdered out. No stickers, no headlights, no nothing on that thing. And then he's popping it with that number, those high-impact colors around it. Nicely done there by Jurgensen. Let's go on board with the 31. As Butcher Benjamin continues to reel in your leader. You can see that gap right now. Holding steady at 2.58. It's almost like an invisible force field out there on the racetrack. You know, you can make ground up on that car in front of you, but once you seem to get around 0.3 to 0.2 of a second, that dirty air coming off the car in front of you, I think that really affects the handling of the race car, and I think it's picking up a tight condition. At least that's how it looks to me right now. And you start plowing the nose, and it makes it really tough to make that pass. You almost, like I was saying earlier, you have to wait for that guy in front of you to almost make a mistake. And now Jurgensen opened it up a little bit on Benjamin. Perhaps he used up those Goodyears trying to get to him and intimidate him a few moments ago. That was a great battle as this starts to dwindle down, at least here in the short term, at the lap 63 mark. Phillips having a great run, started P4, currently resides in that 4th place position, and Kyle Gray feeling the pressure from GMAC. Again, similar story here. Phelps was able to run down the 78, and he's hit that brick wall. 2.2 tenths of a second behind him, and he just cannot get that last 50 feet that he needs or so. He's really going to send it in there on a Louisville slider. You see that car get loose off the corner there. And that's exactly what's happening. That dirty air, that wake coming off of that car in front of him. So in this case, the point car, being the 78, is throwing all that dirty air all over the 25, and he cannot get that car to rotate. And again, Darlington, you're almost forced to run one lane here. So the gears are turning, not only for Gray, but also Taylor Butcher Benjamin, as was virtually in the same situation a couple laps ago, now running about a half second back of your leader. Bryce B silently in that 7th place position, just doing what he needs to do. He knows there's only 67 laps on the board. It is not time to panic. It is not time to hit the kill all button inside. Oh, JP right in front of Bryce having another big moment. JP, watch out. You got the 20, you got the 5 on your, there you go, buddy. He was trying to get out of the way, just didn't realize the 5 had that big of a run. The lady in black not being nice to the driver of Bad Luck Racing. And in fact, James Pandolf, last place as far as the cars on the racetrack in that 17th place position. You know, after everything that he's been through the past couple weeks, he's got a lot of heart toughing it out. I know that man probably has to be exhausted. He's out there leading the charge here at Darlington. Let's check into the YouTube.com live chat. See, you got 29 of you guys watching right now. Appreciate you all being here along for all the high-flying, high-octane racing action. Sound off. Let us know who you're rooting for. We'll get your driver some extended screen time. We'll shout you out as well. For all you guys watching right now, I got to ask you, let's try to get you guys involved a little bit more here this evening, especially while the action on the racetrack starts to trend down a little bit. Who do you think is going to win this race here tonight in Darlington? Go ahead, throw your pick up in the chat. Once you guys start to get involved, we'll start to increase the screen time as well for your driver picks and more. We can talk about Darlington. Have you been to this racetrack? What's it like? Share your experiences here. Do you currently like the current format in modern day racing with Darlington, with the Southern 500, the throwback scheme? Let's talk about it. So we now shift back focus to the racetrack. Oh, Butcher Benjamin, just what in the world was that? Oh, he's coming down pit road. I just knew he was off the pace, and that car was on a weird trajectory. I didn't hear him call it out over the radio either, but this clearly a scheduled stop here for Benjamin. He's going to be the first one to bite, so he's going to try to bunny hop Nathan Jurgensen by undercutting him, getting on the pit lane first here and taking the benefit of those fresher tires. Let's see if Jurgensen comes down next time by. Does he bite on it? No, he doesn't. He's going to stay out on the racetrack. So the Butcher throws a T-bone steak out there and dangles it off the front nose of the 31, and he doesn't bite. Okay, got a 50-50 shot doing that, especially at a racetrack like this. Nathan Jurgensen, nope, you're not getting me with that T-bone, buddy. Not today. As he's going to keep it out there. Andrew Phillips on pit road as well. Joe Safford as well in the 32. And I wish I knew what happened to him when we cut to the blimp coverage to just give you guys a peek at the race facility from a couple hundred feet in the air. Sure enough, that's what it happens. Oh, he almost blew his pit box. He's going to have to put it in reverse. I don't think that's enough. No, he's going to have to get that car a little straighter. There he goes. Those are the mistakes that you cannot make right here. Oh, he's got to be madder than a Keebler elf that got demoted to Fudge Packer right now. I mean, he probably lost 10 seconds. And that car was, so good, too. And something happened on the racetrack, got behind a little bit. Now, unfortunate miscue there on pit road. This is going to cost him a ton. Because we know where he was before he came down pit road. Now the leader, Jurgensen, comes in. Has the first pit stall there just behind the pace car. Looks like maybe the 30. Is Joe pulling out of this race? He's been on pit road here for a minute. Continue to monitor that situation, but one of the favorites tonight maybe has decided to call it quits this evening. As once again, Hickson Jr. now inherits the lead during a cycle of green flag pit stops. And as he takes the lead, we're going to step aside, pay some bills. We'll be right back momentarily. Don't go anywhere.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations. Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
Race fans, welcome back to Darlington, South Carolina, home of the Lady in Black. And guess who went in Las Vegas high stakes mode and played his cards right? Yo, boy, right behind him. The leader, that was the 5 and Maddie Sizzler. That was awful. Someone's going to need some wet naps and some scented candles after that one. I don't know how those two just didn't destroy each other. Oh, man. Guarantee you their blood pressure went from 0 to 1,000 there to split second. But getting back to Taylor Butcher Benjamin, first to come down pit road and first to cycle back out to the lead is the 88. Made a great call there and really got it done in the trenches. Now has almost a 4-second advantage over Nathan Jurgensen. However, he does have the benefit of having the newer shoes. Benjamin down on 72, Jurgensen on lap 75. Jurgensen is a good bit quicker right now, a 30-36 to a 30-82. However, there's that 3.2 second differential right now. How much of those tires is he going to have to use to run TBB down? And, to combo that, how hard is Benjamin pushing it? We could be shaping up for another classic DRL thriller here in the closing moments of this race. It's Matt Sizzler there in 6th place. Potentially 1 lap down right now. And that is really something to think about. Got to go all the way 10 seconds back to third. Hickson. Sizzler is a lap down. That is incredible. As they are side by side, Sizzler wants his lap back. He must be listening to the broadcast. Said, Matt, I got you, buddy. Watch this. Keep the camera pointed on me. So, hey, buddy, it's your type of shot. Let's see you do it the hard way, bro. Come on. Sizzler going to dial up the twin turbo all-wheel drive Stinger and get his lap back the hard way. Oh, look at Butcher. Tried to make him make a mistake there, putting him in the pressure cooker. Benjamin knows that's not a race car he wants back on the lead lap. I mean, Sizzler can beat you just about any given Sunday, and the same goes for the second most winningest driver in DRL history, right there in that 88. So Sizzler gets his lap back, and now he is running for his life, trying to keep the Butcher behind him at bay. You're now on board with Taylor Butcher Benjamin, your leader here as we approach lap 100. We're going to go ahead and do our second all-out wide-open coverage segment of the race. Grab that dial, crank it up right along here with us on Red Light Racing Network. Let's do this thing.
Man, I get all excited. I'm like, JoJo.
Ding dog, someone's home and a knock it, and it is Nathan Jurgensen coming through loud on the ring home camera, and he's getting every alert right now. Taylor Butcher Benjamin is feeling it from the 31 as he has ran him down from the next county over. Nathan Jurgensen lurking the strike, and here he goes. He's trying to pull the trigger. Side by side into the corner. The 31's going to get a little McSwirly off the bottom as it's a John Ford special at the line. Who's got the lug nuts to send it into one? Benjamin's going to lift first. Jurgensen, John Bon Jovi styled it, living on a prayer. And that's how you take the lead back from one of the elites. You just got to have a little bit of faith and keep your foot in it. Great battle for the lead there. I'll tell you what. I bet you Nate Jurgensen is loving life right now. He's got to be fired up.
Man, I get all excited. I'm like, JoJo, the idiot circus boy with a pretty new pet.
Pretty much just like that. Bet you guys weren't ready for that. Someone's got to be laughing right now, I'm just saying. But what? A battle that was between two guys giving it everything they got, leaving all of their guts out there on the racetrack. Really, that's the first pass I've really been able to see any driver make like that, where Jurgensen was able to drive up right on the back bumper and just hang out. I mean, right by the back door, place of the place of business, and decide to say, hey, I want to pass you right now. We're going to make it happen. I haven't seen anyone else be able to do that throughout the course of this race like the 31 did. Benjamin's race car starting to get a little loose there. As Jurgensen now inherits the lead. 13's going to move out of the way. Don't want to be a pick here. Benjamin able to get on by. It cost him just a little bit of time. And I think the bigger story, now that this battle for the lead is at least over for the time right now, the pace being set up by our front runners here tonight. Jurgensen, Benjamin, Hickson, Ray, Kenny Thompson, I see you in fifth, by the way. Sizzler, only 6 cars on the lead lap. That's it. That's the pace. And this is what happens when you go lean, mean, and green at Darlington. No cautions, no stages. We could talk about stage racing here a lot another time because I have a very strong opinion about that. This is what modern day NASCAR is missing. You are not rewarded for being elite and being this good at a difficult racetrack in modern day racing. Why? Look what these guys have done. As Benjamin now comes down pit road, he's going to do it again. He knows how long it took him to get there. This could be the winning decision right here in this race. This race could be won in the pits right now. Benjamin has to be flawless here. Don't overshoot his box. Don't step on his biscuit. Don't shoot himself in the foot. Clean here. There you go. Gets it into the box on the first shot. Crew's going to go to work. Jack going up. 4 tires, 2 cans of Sunoco Racing Fuel going to be the call. Anxiously waiting. He is down and away. Send it for the final time here this evening. Kyle Gray is going to follow for his final pit stop of the evening. Brandon Broby also on pit road. He currently resides in an 8th place position, doing a great job out there. Phelps. Royce B. Oh, getting a report. Matthew Casbaro may have... Well, let's just go ahead and cue playback here. Coming to pit road here, and he may have went a little too quick, and well, at least he didn't destroy the barrels head on like I did a couple years ago. That's a moment I wish I had back, and I did that live on a broadcast too. So, Matt, I've been there, buddy. I feel you. This is going to leave Jurgensen to the lead. However, he is still going to have to pit. He's going to have to do the same thing all over again. He knows TBB is going to get the lead here. And he's going to have to put 4 fresh ones on it. And he's going to have to run some heaters. And he's going to have a small window to go run Taylor Butcher Benjamin back down. And I'll tell you what, folks, Grandma, get your popcorn ready. Because Jurgensen is about to set this track aflame. Look at the aggressiveness, setting it out of pit road. That's about as clean as it can possibly get. Jurgensen on pit road. Let's cycle the camera now to Butcher Benjamin. Coming off of 4. At the stripe now. Is Jurgensen still in his pit box? This is going to be a pretty big Actually, I don't want to call it here yet. We'll just let this play out. As predicted, Hickson Jr. is going to stay out for a little bit longer. He's going to take the lead here momentarily. Again, that Budweiser 8 car, as good as it looks out there, is going to have to pit. He does not have enough go-go juice in the box to make it to the end. Jurgensen down and away. Where is Butcher Benjamin? There he goes. Take a look here at the time delta. Hasn't had a chance to update yet. We'll come back to that here in just a moment. But as of right now, TBB trending to almost a 6-second lead over Jurgensen. You want to see what that looks like size-wise out there on the racetrack. There's Jurgensen. Taylor Butcher Benjamin's basically a straightaway ahead of him right now. There he is coming into 1 and 2. That gap is closing, though. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. Jurgensen has already kicked off a second, and he is bleeding. The time off the interval ticker, like it is going out of style. It is down to 4.60. Are you? Wow. This is going to be a lap. Let's jump on board here with Nathan Jurgensen. Oh, the 45 might be hindering him just a little bit here. He's not going to be able to arc it in the corner how he likes. Look at his hands doing the dance on the wheel. He is doing the icky shuffle inside that race car. That was not the lap he was looking for, and the way that he is catching lap traffic right now is not helping him. That lead is stabilized now at 4.50 seconds. He was able to skin a second and a half off there like nothing. Now he's going to have some real estate between him. He should be able to catch this lap car here. Okay, coming out of coming off of 1 and 2. The exits low. He's got his foot back in it to win it. I'm not sure what has happened here, but Jurgensen, hit the flux capacitor and took a second and a half off that 6-second gap he had right off the rip. Hit a couple lap cars. Oh, here we go. Now he's turning it up again. Now it's down to 3.80 seconds. So he's lit the afterburner again. So they continue to close the gap. Also, we're going to throw up the telemetry there on the 31 for you. Last time by a 29.41 to a 29.52. Both these drivers turning some absurd lap times right now. This is wild. 24 laps to go. The Butcher swinging and chopping everything out of his way. Almost 180 there into the corner. And I'll tell you what, Butcher Benjamin has found something. He is not giving up the time right now. He's giving it up in chunks. He'll give up a chunk really quick, and then it'll stabilize. Like right now, it's still at 3.330. And Jurgensen out there running qualifying laps right now, trying to run him down. The gap now 3 seconds. 23 laps, still a long way to go in this one. This could set up. I'm telling you, folks, in the world of Phil Collins, I can feel it coming in the air tonight. This could be shaping up for one of our DRL classic finishes here, ladies and gentlemen. And if you haven't seen any of them, get ready, because I think one's a brewing. And this man right here, TBB, has been a part of a lot of them. You go back through the archives. It wasn't broadcasting on our channel, but if you go back and take a look at Sim Racing Media's coverage of this league, you will see what I'm talking about for this guy and Thomas the Hammer Harmon. My God, put on the show almost any given Saturday night, these two. I mean, they would just do it and do it again, and when you think it couldn't get any better, they brought it. I mean, my buddy I miss dearly, Liam Irving, we had a great time calling those races, and I think that could be what we may be in store for here tonight between Jurgensen and Benjamin. He is now under 2 seconds. Intimidator 2.0. Looking like the old man in black out there. Cue the Jaws music. That's the gap. That's it. 19 laps to go. Butcher better turn the dial to extra crispy. Now 172. Let's join on board with the 31. This is all the fuel Jurgensen needs right now, just to see that 88 getting bigger and bigger out of his front windshield. Completely opposite story if you're the 88. He's looking out his mirror. He knows he's coming. And you don't want to get caught mirror driving here. Oh, wow. Jurgensen just absolutely threw up a decleater into that corner. Look at how much he was able to cut off. Now, the question is, was Butcher Benjamin saving his tires a little bit here? Because obviously, Nate is having to really abuse. I mean, he's treating those Goodyears like a redheaded stepchild right now. Let's just be honest. Gap is a half a second. Let's sit back and watch these two do business. In fact, we're going to do something different here. It's wide open coverage to watch this battle unfold between the second most winningest driver in DRL history and a driver that is bribed, if he keeps up with performances like this, to put his name up there with the elites. Here we go. Let's do this one more time. Well, folks, sometimes you get it wrong. I thought that battle was going to be a little longer. It's going to be a little more drowned out and have a little bit more of an exciting flair to it. But, hey, it's racing. Jurgensen has just said, I don't even want to mess with you right now. I got plans after this race. I'm getting to the start-finish line. Now, can Taylor Benjamin do anything to run him down? Can he change his line? Can he change his braking points? Is there anything he can do? Does he have something in the kitchen sink in his Rolodex to throw at this 31? I cannot believe the way he was able to just drive around him pretty much. I mean, Benjamin is one of the best guys to do it in Gen 4. And Jurgensen, made him seem like a little giant in this instance, in this scenario. Now those roles have switched, and now it's Jurgensen in the clean air with a 1 second advantage and still running the fastest lap times. If that was me out there, my tires would be molten lava out there on the racetrack. I'd be running on the rims right now if I tried to even thought about pushing the car that hard for that long. Well, that battle has shifted with 11 laps to go. Let's go ahead and run through the field here as gentleman's handshake lap now on the board. Kyle Gray started third, runs third. Donald Hickson Jr., solid evening. That car looks showroom brand new still, up 3 spots, currently in that 4th place position. A heck of a day. They're the lady in black with just 10 laps remaining. Kenny Thompson, the master of chaos, putting up a hell of a run here tonight. Kenny, way to hang in there, man, and way to show out on such a difficult racetrack. I'm proud of you, man. Heck of a job there for Kenny Thompson. A similar story here for Sizzle Time. Doing what he needs to do. A solid points day, or it should be. Keyword should. In that 6th place position. Brandon Broby, the 45 wide Milwaukee Tools. You can always count on him to be here and inside the top 10 most nights, and he's checked both of those boxes. The GMAC Insurance man was really a big part of this race in the early going. Not sure what happened to his mojo there, perhaps a bad pit stop or something on the racetrack, but that car seems to just lost a little bit of speed, a little pace that he had in the early going for that 8th place position. The Silver Bullet entrenched in that 9th place position, up 5 spots. He is one of the biggest movers of the race. Matthew Casbaro in 10th out of Loganville, Georgia. In fact, he is going to have a heated battle here with Bryce momentarily as he runs in that 11th place spot. You can see a little bit of damage to the 5 ride. Could be hurting his performance there just a little bit. Gary Donaldson in 12th. David Keisha in 13th. Pandolf is taking it down pit road. All other cars have called it quits, so 13 remain out there in competition. With 7 laps to go, Jurgensen now has a 2-second lead. Another point I want to bring up. Take a look at this ticker, folks. Butcher Benjamin, 2.1 seconds back. Third, Knight almost 10 seconds back. Kenny Thompson, 17 in 5th. Matt Sizzler, P6, first car, 1 lap down. Let that sink in for a minute. That's the pace these guys are putting up. I mean, I don't discuss iRatings a lot because that's personal information, but I will say this. That 6th place car is well over a 3K iRating. Just to put it in perspective. When I tell you these guys are some of the best Gen 4s in iRacing to do it, I mean that wholeheartedly, 110%. Love to see Zach Novak come back and run some of these races. It was great to have you in the winter season. If you got time on a Saturday night, man, if you're watching this, we'd love to have you come back and run a couple races. It was fun to be a part of it. Zach, of course, a former currently a Coke Series driver. And, man, you learn a lot from him, too, when they're out there on the racetrack. Welcome to the Jurgensen and Butcher Benjamin show here in the closing laps from the Lady in Black. And with the performance that Nathan Jurgensen has dialed up here tonight, only fitting that we give him the camera for the final 2 laps of this race. Popsicle sticks in the air for the Intimidator 2.0. Sends it in hot. Take it nice and easy here. The 5's going to give him plenty of room. Going to pull it down off of the racetrack, give him plenty of space. That's respect right there. Big shout out to the 5. 1 more lap to go. 1 more time around Darlington for Nathan Jurgensen. He's going to let the 5 go back by him. That's a smart move there by the 31. Oh, my God! Oh, no! Holy hell. Oh. Jurgensen, after a near heart attack, going to come across the line and win this thing. Taylor Butcher Benjamin in 2nd. Donald Hickson in 3rd. Can someone get me some blood pressure medication, please? Try to shift my focus here because I thought that was about to be the biggest butchery I've ever seen in my life of a way to lose a race, but it didn't happen. And how about this man? This guy is something else. Able to erase a 6-second deficit like it was nothing. Not once, but twice out there on the racetrack with older tires. Going up against one of the series greats there in Taylor Butcher Benjamin. What a drive by these guys. And how about Donald Hickson Jr.? Welcome back to the podium, bro. I was wondering, is the 31's going to burn it down? And that is a star-studded lineup right there on the podium. Jurgensen gets the W. Butcher Benjamin comes home second. And welcome back, Hickson Jr. in third. We're going to change our graphics as we get ready to jump into post-race coverage. We're going to step aside for 30 seconds. We'll be right back with interviews and more right here on Red Line Racing Network.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
Come back to the podium, Donald Hickson Jr. It's about time, man. I knew it was only a matter of getting to this racetrack before I would see you again. And lo and behold, here you are. Congratulations on such a strong run. How are you able to put it together here tonight at the Lady in Black?
Just being general in the car, keeping my just
Donald, I'm sorry to cut you off. Just give me one moment here. I don't think your sound is not carrying over to the broadcast. Give me 30 seconds, please. I do apologize. Yes, you can hear me, but the broadcast cannot hear you. Just got to make one quick change. Get that sorted for all of our listeners out there. All right, Donald, all set. If you could please kindly repeat that last statement, I want to make sure everyone has an opportunity to hear your thoughts from your run tonight.
I just wanted to make a point to minimize my mistakes on pit road, especially just from last week because I think I got an unsafe pit entry. But this track, you gotta brace it more than anyone else, honestly, and just kind of take care of the right front. Don't abuse it because this track will make you pay for it more than others.
Well said, 100%. I mean, there are so many different ways the lady in black can chew you up and spit you out, right? This is probably a hallmark race on the current Cup schedule for a reason. Obviously, a lot of tradition here, but this place is oh so tough. And if you think about relaxing for 1 second, that's when this racetrack will jump up and bite you. And I agree with you. I agree with your logic 100%. I knew coming into this race that this would be a place where not necessarily that you needed to circle the wagons, but would kind of give you that boost to get you back up into the podium. And I was very confident this racetrack just seems like a place that you like to run. It fits your wheelhouse. And here you are. What are some of the tricks? What are some of the secrets to the science of being successful here? I don't want you to give away all the secret sauce, if you will, but for maybe someone that's new to iRacing or someone that's struggling with this racetrack, any advice, any tips you can give them?
You gotta be smooth with your inputs, including your steering, your throttle in particular, because you can light the rear tires up, as you know, pretty easily with this car. But you just have to you gotta do a lot of laps here, honestly. Really repetition. You get an idea of little bumps and stuff that you run into throughout, but just don't charge the corners. I've said that probably a few times now. You just got to be smooth.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. Some pro insider tips from one of the greatest in Gen 4 competition to go out there and do it. In fact, Donald Hickson is good anytime he loads up. But we appreciate your insight and feedback there. How treacherous was pit road tonight under those green flag conditions? It seemed like it was really slick getting in there, trying to, just bring as much speed as you could to the line without stepping over the boundary.
It's one of the toughest on the circuit. Especially with how way far off to the left it is. I think Nathan was tackling the entry a little different than me. I was going straight to the inside wall, but he kind of kept it on the banking a little bit until the last second. They would kind of turn down where the yellow line is. But I just tried not to spin on entry from having a lot of rear brake, because I typically run a lot of rear brake. I've done that a couple of times, but I typically would just point it to the bottom and just kind of keep the wheel straight until I'm reasonably slowed down enough, and then I can turn it from there.
Yeah, you made this pit road entry look easy, and I can assure you guys at home it's anything but, as we were on board with you for a couple of them. Anything you think maybe you could have changed to go up there and contend with TBB or Jurgensen, or do you think you got the absolute best out of the 8 car tonight with that third place finish?
I think that first run, I didn't push as hard as I probably should have. I have a tendency to underdrive my car at times, especially on the beginning of the run. I got better as the race progressed, but I honestly wonder if I should have pitted a little sooner, especially on that last run, because I got within a few seconds of him a few times, but because I had a tire advantage. But at the last stop, he was so much further ahead of me that time. I didn't really have a chance to make it up in time.
Well said, and I hear you there. What the keys to success that I pointed out top of the broadcast was being patient. Don't force things on the racetrack to happen, and you did just that. You were patient, and you let things materialize, and generated those runs and picked it up when it was as safe as it could be out there on the racetrack. You really didn't force your hand, which, can lead to trouble putting yourself in bad situations out there on the racetrack, man. But I got to tip the hat to you. Great run. What an effort from you this evening. And I think this is going to be just what you need to really get that fire burning there in the 8 camp. And I look forward to watching you over the next upcoming weeks. Great to have you back up in the booth once again, buddy. And before I cut you loose, who do you want to thank who helps you get it done on that Budweiser 8? The floor is yours.
Well, honestly, I want to thank Zach Novak, honestly, for helping me a little bit. I did a little coaching session with him today, and I've already had a general idea how to run Darlington, but obviously he's a Coke driver. He's gonna know all the ins and outs. He gave me a few pointers, just kind of helped me fine tune what I already have as a foundation, so to speak. The league itself, I want to thank too. It's always clean, and I enjoy running it, especially even more so than officials anymore. Not that I don't like officials, but it's just I love the fact that we had the opportunity to go green flag racing all the way from start to finish. That's really nice because a race can materialize. And I overall just want to thank the league. I enjoy running this car, and I can't wait for the new car too, as well, and for Bristol next week, because I love that place.
Yes, sir. I'm sure you got that one circled. And true story, you could check me. I was just talking about Zach Novak on the broadcast. Basically said, "Hey, buddy, we miss you out here in competition. I know you're busy right now. It's an active Coke season for you. But if you got time, come stop back on a Saturday night, and here you are shouting about as well."
Yeah.
But
I'll see. I think he actually may run soon. I don't know. I'd have to talk to him, of course, and ask him. But yeah, I feel like he'll race another one soon. That'd be nice. For sure.
Absolutely, Donald. Again, great run. Thanks for your time up here in the booth. You have a great evening, and I look forward to speaking with you again really soon.
Yep. Thanks, Matt. You have a good one.
Thank you. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Donald Hickson Jr. Taves, the lady in black, comes home with a solid podium effort and a showroom-looking brand-new Budweiser 8. That is tough to do here. He'll take that and the momentum, and watch for him to continue and light it up in primetime next week at the Bull Ring, the last great Coliseum, Bristol. The 8's going to be strong there. You can check that one and mark it guaranteed. I'm going to put you back in the broadcast waiting room. Great interview there from the 8, and always appreciate the insights as, like I said, these drivers, the quality here is far few and in between, and when you have a chance to pick their brain, especially if you got new sim racers or anyone that's interested watching on these broadcasts, I mean, that is great advice and insight, and I really appreciate their time and their analysis and breakdown. Continuing on with tonight's interviews. Joining me next, a man that always seems to be on the podium. I have to come up with a new nickname for this guy, perhaps. Joining me now in the Tony Trapassi Memorial broadcast booth, Mr. Podium, TBB. How the heck are you, buddy?
I'm pretty good, man. How about yourself?
Dude, after watching that race, I'm fantastic. That was
I'm pretty wore out, too.
You got to be tired, brother. I mean, you were up on the wheel. You were giving it everything you had. It was a blast watching you from the cockpit of the race car. That battle you had a couple times with Jurgensen out there on the racetrack. Walk me through your run tonight. The floor is yours, sir.
Well, early on, I mean, when I was able to fight through up to his bumper the second run, I was kind of noticing I was beating him in 1 and 2, but then he was just better than me in 3 and 4. I'm like, I think the only way I could actually beat him is by maybe short pitting. And then, I mean, it worked a couple of times because, like, the first time I short pitted, he didn't run me down until like 8 to go or something, until I had to pit again. And so I figured, why not one more time at the end? But he made it happen a little more faster on that last run. I was hoping maybe we get a late caution, but everybody was pretty spread out, which, I mean, got to hand it to these guys. I mean, Darlington, no cautions, 147 laps is pretty remarkable, if you ask me.
That's almost unheard of, and that's a great point. And I was going to get ready to, in fact, make that a point to cover before I close the broadcast out. And the other thing here is the pace that you guys put up. I mean, only 6 cars on the lead lap at the end. Caution-free race, and again, pit stops, and how you attack pit road and execution in the trenches became a big part of this race too, because you had to match the pace out there on the racetrack with a solid effort on pit road. And I think that's where Nate perhaps dialed it up a little bit more on that last pit stop. I'm going to have to go back and check it out. But, I mean, you three cars really were the class of the field tonight. Flawless execution. Talk to me about the strategy to short pit. And that thought went through my mind the first time he was able to get by you. I said, does Taylor Butcher Benjamin, try to undercut him here? And then you go ahead and you do that. And I thought after all that was said and done, when you came down pit road again, the first one to peel off, I said, this is going to be the winning moment of the race right here. I said, when you did that, I said, this could define who wins this race right now. I didn't think the 31 was going to be able to run you down in time. I thought you had this one. I didn't want to say in the bag, but I was very confident that you were going to come across the start-finish line P1, and then Nathan Jurgensen, goes spiritual status here once again. And I don't know how he made those tires hold on the way he did. I mean, you were putting down some hot laps, and he was having to run even harder to catch you because you had just about a 6-second lead. When he cycled back onto the racetrack, by the time he got to you, was his car just that much better where you didn't want to, where you couldn't battle him? You just let him go to try to just make sure you're able to get home with a solid finish?
I think it was a few things. I mean,
Okay.
The simple fact that his tires were a little fresher. I mean, not by much, but still enough where it made a difference. Plus,
Yes, sir.
I mean, I don't think he hit the wall once. I think I got into about 5 or 6 times there. A couple times when I was in the lead, just bailing off into turn 3 a little bit too hard. And then, I mean, not that the lap cars did anything wrong, but it's just catching them in the right spot and the wrong spot is huge here with the closing rate. I mean, that's just typical Darlington. And then of course the main factor is he is Nathan Jurgensen. He's pretty talented, so I knew I had my work cut out for me, even though I had the got quite the advantage on him when he came off pit road. But he was definitely the class of the field, and congrats to him.
Well, I'll tell you what, congrats to you. It's very tough to go out there consistently against such talented drivers. I mean, any one of these guys in this field pretty much can win any given Sunday. I mean, you guys really are a great group of Gen 4 drivers out here in iRacing, and I look forward to this race each and every week. With that being said, I don't know Jurgensen the way you do. Clearly, the more I watch him, he's certainly in that conversation. He's a Taylor Butcher Benjamin in this league. He's a Thomas the Hammer Harmon. I thought we were going to kind of maybe get a glimpse of the great battles that you two used to have here. When I saw how fast he was catching it, I was trying to sell it, and I was kind of like, darn, he kind of just went right by him. But, man, to tell you what, you two out there at the racetrack are just so darn good, and you have a lot going for you. I mean, if you could bet on iRacing at DraftKings, I'd have you in my lineup every week, because each and every time you seem to put it on the racetrack, you're on the podium winning this, or you're in the mix. And again, Bristol next week. How do you feel about your chances going to the last great Coliseum?
That's something me and Nathan were actually just discussing before you pulled me in here. I mean, a few years ago, I used to be really good at Bristol, but the past, I don't know, 3 or 4 years have been in a bit of a struggle, put it that way. I mean, still finishing decent, but as far as I guess I'm just driving the track wrong, but definitely got to try to put in some work this week at that track, and hopefully it's another good race like it was tonight.
Well, I'll tell you what, you got the right mojo going for you, Taylor Butcher Benjamin. Once again, come home with a solid effort, P2. And I'll tell you what, you guys were the class of the field this evening. What a drive from you. I don't want that to be overshadowed, because That was one hell of an effort from you and your team as well out there on the racetrack. Before I cut you loose, the floor is yours. Who would you like to thank who helps you get it done on the 88?
Well, of course, the DPR group, even though Chris James wasn't here. And also lately, Danny Rogers and I have been kind of working together last few races. He had to quit out early tonight, not sure why, but appreciate his support too. And like I mentioned before, gotta tip the cap to the whole field really to making it a clean race, no cautions, and of course all the fans watching your broadcast and yeah, everybody involved. Put it that way.
Well, there he is, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, another checkered flag flies and another podium for Taylor Butcher Benjamin. He is on quite the hot streak. You heard him say, Bristol, not the same cup of tea as it used to be for him. He's going to put some seat time in this week, and he's going to re-rack him, restack him, and make sure you're here to follow all that action next week. Wish you the best of luck, and look forward to speaking with you again really soon.
Yep, open. So I'll see you next time, Matt.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you for your time up here in the booth. We're going to go ahead and get Benjamin back into the broadcast waiting room, which leaves us two down, one to go. Looking for Nate Jurgensen, your race leader, and I think he might be down there with James Pandolf. I hope this is him because he's the only other person left in really the voice chat. I hope I'm not going to backdoor him here, but let's go ahead and grab him by the collar. Joining me now in the broadcast booth, your winner from tonight's race at Darlington, Nate Jurgensen. How the heck are you, man?
Hey, man, good to talk to you again. Pretty good. I mean, I love this track.
I don't have the words to describe what I watched you do out there on the racetrack tonight. You know, a lot of these, let me just get this out, and I'm going to give you the floor. There's a lot of great drivers in this league, and I don't know you like some of these other guys do. And I've called a lot of races at this racetrack. To have tires that don't seem to fall off when you're putting up those types of lap times that you were running, to have to run the second most winningest driver in DRL history down, not once, but twice. He undercut you twice on pit road, was able to get a 6-second advantage, and you went out there like Superman and did the unthinkable. When you got to him for that final battle, it just seemed like your car was so much better. He wasn't even able to put up a fight, and anyone else that did that wouldn't have any tires left on the race car. They would be smoldering and there'd be rims, metal to asphalt contact. How were you able to make that car do what it did out there on the racetrack? Absolutely incredible. The floor is yours. What a drive. How are you able to get it done tonight?
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's a fine line here of hustling the car and not stepping over and losing your tires too much, because it'll really, really pay, or it'll make you pay for it if you step over. I mean, if you abuse your right rear tire, like you literally can't go full throttle on the straightaway. And it's going to cost you a lot of time. You abuse your right front, and you can't get into 1 or 3 without coming to a stop. And I think I did a good job of saving my right front a lot, and especially running lower in 3 and 4 than I think a lot of guys were. Helped me save that right front. And when it came down to the end of the run, I was able to turn a little bit more in center, and you can pass a lot easier if you can make that stick. Because, I mean, guys can run the top and hold you up for forever. So, I mean, Taylor, I thought, was every bit as quick as I was. I was in front of him, so he did what he had to do, was short pit. Both those last times he pit about a lap earlier than I wanted to pit, to just cut the run in half, which is smart, because that's going to put you out in front. If it's 2 seconds of fall off and he's a second behind me, he short pits me a lap, he's going to be a second out in front of me. And I can't tell, when he's going to pit. He's behind me. Once he starts pitting, nothing I can do as the leader. And at that point, the only counter, like, you can't come in the next time because you'll be a second behind him with 1 lap fresher tires. I'll never pass him. I would never pass him with 1 lap fresher tires. So stayed out. I don't know what I stayed out, 3 or 4 laps longer. which again, he's out there running 2 seconds a lap faster, so he's going to have this huge lead. But now I have 3-4 lap better tires, so when I do catch him, I can actually do something and make that pass, like you said. Like, don't let him be able to put up a fight. So if I only was 1 or 2 laps after him, like we would just battle until our tires were equal. Where staying out that longer amount meant I was further behind, but then when I did catch him, I had fresher tires. But I had to hustle it when I got out there, and he's out there 6 seconds. It's demoralizing. He's so far out there, but then, you just have to stick to the game plan, trust that your strategy is going to work. And then sure enough, he's on the same straightaway, then he's right in front of you. And, you just have to be patient.
Thank you for that excellent analysis and breakdown. And I appreciate the honesty there and sharing all of that information, with us here on the broadcast. And you said that 6-second disadvantage or that gap. If that wasn't the first time you faced that or had that type of adversity, that was the second time. And the first time you did it, I'm like this. I'm like this guy. I know you're a good driver. I wish I had the experience, the history that some of these other guys have with you. And that's the beauty of broadcasting, because I get to now build that with you over the course of the season. But when I'm watching you do this, my jaw is literally hitting the floor. I'm like, how is this possible? And we're going on board with you, and I can tell you're up on the wheel, giving it everything you got. We're going back to TBB, trying to, cover what's happening on the racetrack. And it was just a show watching you and Taylor behind the wheel. And then I thought, when I saw Taylor come down pit road for the final time, I'm like, he's going to do it again. I was like, I don't think there's enough laps left. And then, my God, you came down pit road and seemed like 100 miles an hour faster than anyone else to that commitment code. Not even a drop of tire smoke. You nailed the entry, a hot stop, a laser, if you ask me. And then you come back out, get up to speed. There's a 6-second advantage to TBB. And you set this track ablaze, and that was just incredible racecraft to watch. Thank you for being here in DRL. Congratulations on the win. And if you ever want to share any of this stuff with me, because I'm absolutely horrible in this Gen 4 race car, I would greatly appreciate it. And before I cut you loose, who do you want to thank who helps you get it done on the 31? The floor is yours, sir.
Well, I appreciate all the kind words, and that last stop, I didn't have anybody behind me, so I was able to brake on the banking rather than going all down low. So I think that helped me that last stop. But yeah, if anybody ever wants any, Taylor's every bit as fast as I was. I got my butt kicked last week, so there's a lot of guys in here who are quick, and I'm sure everybody in here would be more than willing to help out anybody find pace. The point here is to have fun as a group and get everybody faster. It doesn't. You're not trying to keep any secrets to yourself, I don't think. We're all just here to have fun. So appreciate you having me, and shout out to Taylor. I thought he just ran a really wonderful race, and everybody on track keeping this thing green flag to flag. That's a win by everybody, not one driver tonight. So I appreciate that, and shout out to 851 Pro.
As a group, I think you all exceeded expectations. That's another marquee highlight. A lean, mean, and green race at Darlington does not happen every day. And there he is, ladies and gentlemen, showing you, if you put your mind to it, you can overcome anything, even a 6-second deficit on the second most winningest driver in DRL history. Nathan Jurgensen conquers the Lady in Black. Look for him to carry the momentum next week to the last Great Coliseum. Nate, thanks for your time, and I hope to speak with you again really soon.
Thanks. Take care, man.
You too, sir. As that will now wrap up post-race interviews here on Redline Racing Network. To Nate's point, what this group of drivers did tonight is truly spectacular. Not only were there individual performances that went way beyond what was expected or thought could possibly be done, these drivers put on a green, lean, mean, and green, caution-free race at Darlington. That's a miracle in itself. Only a couple cars out of this race, and the drivers that finished inside the podium, these top three were absolutely next level the entirety of this race. I want to thank all of them for joining me here in the broadcast booth, because there's now just only a couple things left to do here this evening. go through the final results. You heard from Taylor Butcher Benjamin, Nathan Jurgensen, and Hickson Jr. as he returns to the podium. Kyle Gray is going to come home fourth. The Master of Chaos, Kenny Thompson, another guy. I see you with the great ride out there in fifth. Sizzle Time in the 93 out of Michigan. He's going to come home sixth. Well, Brandon Broby going to slot in that seventh place position, while Andrew Phillips, Gary Farnsworth Jr., and Matthew Casbaro round out your top 10. Gary Donaldson, Bryce B., David Keisha, James Pandolf, and Dakota Osborne round out your top 15, while Ryan Mooch comes home 16th. Joe Safford going to come home in that 17th place position, while the 99 of Danny Rockin' Rogers 18th, and rounding out the 19 drivers that took the initial green flag tonight. David Anderson in that 19th place position. And can someone tell me where Cap Tua is? Where has he been? I didn't get to say Cap Tua the past 2 weeks. I'm upset about that. Can we fix this, please? No, I'm kidding with you guys. Want to take a moment to thank all of the sponsors, the fans, you guys for tuning in, the drivers for driving their guts out on the racetrack tonight, James and all the admins for everything that they do. Without your help and support, this league wouldn't be possible. And as the late, great Tony Trapasso used to say, as you walk down the road of life this week, do us all a favor. Don't play in traffic, and we'll see you next time right here on Red Line Racing Network.